Thank you for joining us here. Special coverage continuing on i24 News. U.S. President Joe Biden, he is now in Israel on his 10th visit to the country. And as he recalled on his arrival Wednesday afternoon, he has met with every Israeli prime minister since Golda Meir. In his own warm words for us, he's a Zionist, as he put it. He, quote unquote, gets Israel. He recognizes its challenges, appreciates its achievements, and he reiterated that the bonds between the U.S. and Israel are, quote unquote, bone deep. Now, the president appears to be saying all the things most Israelis could hope for from a sitting U.S. president. He made headlines in Israel today for his tearful embrace of Holocaust survivors at Yad Vashem. So far, so good on this visit. And after all the warm greetings yesterday, in the words of Israeli Prime Minister Lapid, it's down to business today. Now, we'll be covering it all for you here in the next 2 hours with our correspondents out in Jerusalem, in Rabat, Morocco, in Dubai, and in New York. So here we go. And there's a wrap of yesterday as the president arrived. Now we go to our correspondent, Sarah Chalala, who's out in Jerusalem, I believe at the King David Hotel, one of the usual stops or places that the president will visit here as well. Sarah, what's going on in Jerusalem? I know there's been a lot of traffic, the presidential convoy moving around in the last hour there. A busy day in the Israeli capital.
That's right, David. So earlier on, the convoy with Joe Biden, he did come out of his hotel at King David Hotel. But just behind me, as you can see, it's all cordoned off King David Street. So we couldn't really see much. We couldn't go up close and to see it all near the gates. We had to be stationed right here, very far from the action. But the reason why he did exit his hotel was obviously to go to the meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid at the Astoria Hotel in Jerusalem as well, just around the corner from us here. And I'm sure lots unfolded in that meeting. There is still another bilateral meeting on the cards. There is the signing of the Jerusalem Declaration, which I'm sure that's already happened, but it will be released to the public as it's believed around about today or sometime this week. And obviously more to come. The meeting with Isaac Herzog, the Israeli president, later on, the Maccabiah Games as well, the opening ceremony for that to kick off later this evening at Teddy Stadium in Jerusalem. But overall, I think that one of the big questions on everyone's lips is whether this visit by the President of the United States, Joe Biden, will actually be the beginning of changing dynamics in the Middle East. Of course, both sides, Israeli officials and American officials, have this strong commitment to pursuing an expansion of growing Arab and Israeli ties, security and economic ties within the region, and normalization between probably Saudi Arabia and Israel. That should be on the cards. And also the biggest, most diplomatically and politically sensitive meeting will be tomorrow on Friday, when Joe Biden heads over to the West Bank city of Bethlehem to meet with the Palestinian Authority's President Mahmoud Abbas. There's been a lot of frustration, though, recently with Palestinian officials about the fact that Joe Biden's administration has been more so focused on normalization ties between Israel and other Arab countries, and rather neglecting or putting off the focus on these stalled Israeli-Palestinian peace talks. So instead, the Biden administration has come back and said that they're focusing the attention on improving the living conditions for Palestinians. Instead, that's why he'll be heading over there to East Jerusalem, particularly to a hospital there, to provide $100 million of funding to the facilities there. And also there's word on the ground that he'll also be providing an aid package to the Palestinian Authority there as well. The biggest highlight of his trip will be Friday afternoon, when he heads over and makes a stop in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, where he's looking to reorient himself and not rupture ties anymore with Saudi Arabia and end the freeze out with the kingdom after obviously the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018 that we saw happened in Turkey, which America believes that Saudi Arabia approved the killing of the murder of that journalist Jamal Khashoggi. So a lot more to come, a lot more on the agenda. It's a jam-packed schedule for Joe Biden. It does not end here at all.
Sarah Chalala, thanks for the updates from Jerusalem outside the King David Hotel, again where the president is staying. We'll come back to you a bit later on here.